Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday, 19.2 in Accounting 1. Hope everything is going well with remote learning. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out, okay? I'm going to walk you through the depreciation problems in 19.2 kind of step by step because they do get a little tricky. And the workstation has some kind of different things going on, like we didn't buy it at this right at the beginning of the year and it depreciated more quickly. So we're going to do that 1 second. So the first one we're going to do is the very first problem in 19.2. And I also placed it, if you noticed on your work together, I believe you have this, but I placed the problem right here. So for easy access. Okay, so the first problem is that on January 4th, this company bought a display case. And so we have the value of the display case at $4,040, salvage value 200, and estimated useful life of 8 years. That's great. All right, so let's just start off easy and start filling up the top of the information. So this is display case. We're going to name the item. And the method we're using right now is straight line. We'll learn a different one later. The original cost. I have students doing assignments and I get notifications. The original cost is $4,040. The estimated salvage value for this display case at the end of its life is about 200 bucks that we can get for it. And the estimated useful life is 8 years. Okay, so that all that information is filled out. So in the book, it says that it's the year 2000 X1, which means it could be any year ending 1. I'm going to put 2021, okay, just to make things more clear and easy. So we're going to start with the beginning book value, and this is how much we actually paid for this display case. Okay, so we're just going to cell reference that and put that right in there. The annual depreciation is going to be a formula. Okay, so your depreciation formula is the following: equals the value of the display case, okay? And we're actually going to do some things here. I'm going to show you some tricks. We're going to put a parentheses in here, and in the middle of B3, which you cell referenced from up here, 1440, we're actually going to press the function for key, F4. We're going to make that an absolute. So you could manually put in your dollar signs in front of each of the values, but this is a little shortcut. And I remember doing this last year, and I had to actually look it up this year because I wanted to show you how to do it. So all you would do is cell reference and then press F4, and that will give you the absolute. Okay, and then we're going to subtract out the estimated salvage value. And again, press F4 to get your little absolute value. Close it out, and we're going to divide by the useful life years. And then again, we're going to hit F4. This is going to be easy, make things easier when we want to actually copy the formula. Okay, so we have an annual depreciation of 480. And the reason it is a full year depreciation, because if you look over here, this display case was actually bought on January 4th. So therefore, a full year of depreciation will be taken. If this display case was bought after January 15th, we would not count January as part of depreciation. Okay, we would only have 11 months of depreciation. But because it was bought before the 14th or before the 4th, we include the whole amount of depreciation for January. Okay, so accumulated depreciation, we would just simply cell reference the first year of depreciation. It's going to be different later on. The ending book value is going to be this formula, the beginning book value minus annual depreciation. Okay, so I had to step away for a minute to block my notifications on my Padlet for my consumer class. All right, so we're back. Sorry about that. All right, so we've got the ending book value at $3,500. $160. All right, so the next year is going to be 2022. Okay, and we've got our beginning book value, the same amount as our ending book value from the last year. So we're just going to cell reference that. Okay, then the annual depreciation is actually going to be the same. So we're going to bring that down to 480, and we're able to do that because we use the absolutes with our F4 function up here. So accumulated depreciation is going to be a new formula. We're going to put an equal sign, and we're going to add up last year's depreciation plus this year's depreciation, and that gives a total of 960. Our ending book value is going to be the beginning book value of the year less the annual, not the accumulated depreciation, the annual depreciation. Okay, so we're left with $3,080 a book value of the display case. All right, so I'm going to show you something else that you might know how to do, maybe not. So I'm going to select the 2021, 2022, like that. Okay, so make sure they're both selected. Then that little blue box, I'm going to hover over it, click, and drag all the way down. And that's going to bring us all the way down to 2028. If you were just to do that with 2021, I don't believe it would work. I think you would just copy the year 2021. So you have to grab two in a row, and then Google Sheets knows that it's a year, and it will keep adding to that year. All right, so the next one, turn off my notification on my phone. The next one is going to be similar to the one in 2022. So all we're going to do is we're going to select all the way across, and we're going to go down and see if it works. And it does. So all of our formulas up from 2022 are going to apply to 2023. All right. And what's cool is that let's go all the way down to 2027. Okay. So we're down to $680 as an ending book value. Okay. Now, this never happens in real life, but our annual depreciation is 480. Our ending book value is 680. If we subtract those out, we know at the end of the useful life of 8 years that we are going to have a salvage value of 200. Okay, that never happens in real life, hardly ever. But we are able to copy this last row and bring it down to the very last year. And we've got an ending book value of $200. Okay, and we have used up this display case for the past 8 years. So we're good. And we've got our accumulated depreciation of $3,840. Okay, so that closes out the display case work together. That was a really easy one, and it just worked out perfectly. Okay, so let's go into real life now. And we're going to look at September 20th. We bought a workstation. So most items are not bought at the beginning of a year. Okay, they're bought during the year at some point, which means we cannot take full depreciation for that item. Okay, so that's typically what you're going to see. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. And so let's figure out this plant asset depreciation. You'll notice I've got highlighted the first annual depreciation, the last annual depreciation yellow, because they're going to be partial years of depreciation. Okay, so the plant asset we're looking at is workstation. The depreciation method is straight line. Whoops. And the amount, 4,800. And it looks like we're going to use this thing to the bitter end. So when we get rid of this, we have used this into the ground. It's not worth anything. We're just going to dispose of it. And the estimated life is 5 years, it tells us. Okay, so we're going to have this workstation for 5 years. Again, we're going to start out 2021. And you can use any year you want, doesn't matter, but just for argument's sake, for our demo here, we're going to use 2021. The beginning book value is going to be cell referenced against the 480. Now, annual depreciation. This is highlighted in yellow for a reason. If you look up here, it says this workstation was bought on September 20th. All right, you guys, so this means that because this workstation was bought after the 15th of the month, we cannot take depreciation for September 20th. All right, so that leaves us with October, November, and December only depreciation for the year 2021. So that's 3 out of 12 months, and that's going to be an important fraction that we're going to use in our formula, right? So let's start our formula like we usually do. However, we're going to put 2 parentheses in, and you're going to understand why in a minute. We're going to start out with the 4,800, but then we're going to go in the middle of it, and we're going to hit the F4 to make it an absolute. So we always go back to the same place for our formula. And then we're going to subtract out, and this seems silly, but I want you to get used to doing it, the salvage value, which is 0. And we are definitely going to put the F4 in. We're going to close that out. We're going to divide by the number of useful years of life, and we're going to close that out as well, but we're not done yet. Okay, don't hit enter yet. Then we're going to multiply by just a portion of the year, 3 out of 12 months. So 3 divided by 12. And then we're going to hit enter. So $240 is considered depreciation for this item. No more, no less. Okay, that is not full depreciation. That's partial. All right, so we're just going to run across our columns here like we did before. Our accumulated depreciation is going to be, for the first year, our annual depreciation. And then the ending book value is going to be the beginning book value less the depreciation. Hit enter. Okay, for year 2, owning this, we're going to put the year, 2022. The beginning book value is going to be last year's ending book value. Now, the annual depreciation is going to be a different formula because we are owning this workstation for a full year. So we're going to do this formula again, give you lots of practice. Okay, equal sign. Let's put a double, actually 1 parentheses this time, not double. We're going to take the 4,800. We're going to hit F4. We're going to subtract out the salvage value, which seems silly because it's 0, but I want you to know how to do this. And then we're going to close it out, and then we're going to divide by the number of years of useful life. Enter. So full year depreciation is $960. So that's going to be important moving forward. Our accumulated depreciation is going to be different. So we're going to add last year's depreciation plus this year's depreciation. That gives us a total of $1,200. The ending book value is going to be last year's, or the beginning book value of this year less the annual depreciation. Okay, so we've got an ending book value of year 2 of $3,600. Okay, now let's do our little trick here where we're going to highlight our years and we're going to drag all the way down to 2026. So we've got 6. So we've got 6 years we're dealing with, and we only have 5 years of useful life. However, this is only a partial year, and the last year is only going to be a partial year too. So this is actually going to be, give me a second here, I'm going to change this. So this is going to be our partial year, this yellow right here. All right, so let's do this again. I believe now we can copy this whole row, and we'll bring that all the way down just to the, something went wrong. All right, we may need to do this again. All right, so equals, we're going to take the ending book value, right? And then we're going to copy this. Ooh, I know what I did wrong here. What did I do wrong? I didn't make this an absolute. That's what happened. So we're going to go up to the B20 and we're going to hit F4. Make it an absolute. And now I think we can copy everything. Let's make sure this is working correctly. It is. And it looks like I'm off a little bit, and I don't know why. Maybe a rounding thing. 960, 1200, 360, 3600. So that, and okay, so I'm going to copy that formula. Oh, I know what I did wrong again. Okay, I didn't make this an absolute up here. So we got to make sure that the formula that we're copying is all has absolutes. All right, now I think we should be good to go to copy down. Now we're good. Okay, so now we're going to do this. We're going to copy all the way down just to the yellow portion. So we've got 4 solid years of $960 of annual depreciation. Okay, now comes, we're rounding out the 5th year, but we're actually into the 6th year a little bit. All right, so we're only going to be able to keep this for 9 months in the year 2026 because we had it for 3 months in the year 2021, and it's only a 5-year useful life. So we're going to unload this thing in the year 2026. All right, so we know that the ending book value, and the reason we know that too is the ending book value is $720. And our annual depreciation on this thing has been $960. So we know this is almost done. We're almost done with this piece of equipment. So we're going to cell reference the 720 and we'll hit enter, okay? And we know that the annual depreciation is only going to be a portion. It's only going to be the difference between 960 and 240. So you can type it in, you can create that formula, do whatever you want to do. I'm just going to type in 720. But if you want to, you can grab the 960, subtract out the 240, and get the 720 as well. Either way is fine with me. All right, so accumulated depreciation is going to be the 480 plus the 720. And then we've got $4,800 accumulated depreciation, which is great because that's the price we paid for it, and we know there's no salvage value. So the ending book value is going to be the 720 minus the 720 and 0. So we know we're correct because the 0 value, salvage, matches the ending book value. Okay, so this was a little trickier because, and this is more real life because we never always buy things, on January 1st, and we never always dispose of them on December 31st. Usually it's going to be a scenario that looks similar to this. Okay, so it's important to keep track of depreciation because depreciation is actually an expense that we can actually claim as a deduction on taxes. It affects the balance sheet because it shows that the value of our equipment is not worth what it once used to be. And the balance sheet reflects those current assets and long-term assets as well. All right, so I think that's it for 19.2. You should be able to have a good understanding of this. I will be posting another video on 19.3. Also take a look at Evan's because he has the full key as well, and it's always good to listen to other people explain it too. I also put Mrs. Epstein's video up there for the straight line depreciation. And so between the 3 of us, you should have this pretty well. All right, thank you. And by the time a lot of you do this, it'll probably be the long weekend. So have a great weekend and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.